Hello. Welcome back to Witch Bitch Tarot. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Kristen. You can call me Witch or you can call me Bitch. It really does not matter. Just put some respect on that shit. Make sure that you go to witchbitchtarot.com to see everything that I do have to offer. We are going to be talking about a continuation of understanding the deck of tarot. So make sure you check out the other video when we talk about the Fool's Journey and how and what that looks like, just to help us kind of gain an understanding of the cards and understanding of the journey of the Fool. I always say that there's 5 stories in tarot. We have obviously the Fool's Journey, the story of cups, the story of swords, the story of pentacles, and the story of wands. The story of wands is about action. It's about fire. When we speak about elements in the zodiac, if we say that the major arcana is spirit, wands would be fire. So oftentimes you will hear it called the story of fire in tarot. All wands, the zodiac signs that are represented in fire are Aries, Leo, I had a brain fart, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So when we talk about wands, we often are thinking of our fire signs. We have the energy of fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, okay? Or saggy titties, depending on how you determine it. To further break it down, when we talk about each story in tarot, whether it's the wands or the cups, we have to keep in mind where the first time that story is placed and what that looks like. So that's why I say tarot is a puzzle. It depends on what and where and how and why and at where everything is placed. The first time that we see this story of wands is after the Fool goes and talks to the Emperor, right? After the Fool talks to the Emperor. And the Emperor is represented by Aries. And remember, the Emperor was very logical. He was very forthcoming. He was very stern. He was very stable. After that, we see... After that, we see the Wand story represented in the Strength card by Leo, which is courage, which is hate over love, which is about action that needs to be taken further. Okay? And then after that, we see it in Temperance, which is about patience and divine timing and understanding that our actions need to happen accordingly, quote unquote, with where we're going and what we're doing. So, this is where it can get a little bit tricky. When I dive a little bit deeper when I talk about it in my private sessions or my private classes of teachings. Anytime that we see, let me pull these out really quick. Anytime that we see the energies of fire, we want to remember that we can place this story of the Fool, of the Wands, where the Fool is at on its journey. So, that's why I say the major arcana are major events and the minor arcana are details. So when we're talking about the story of Wands, imagine where the Fool was. Again, if you didn't listen to the Fool's Journey episode, go ahead and take a look at that, just to kind of help you better understand. If we look at where the Fool is at in each journey, imagine after the Fool talks to the Emperor, he has to go through this story of Wands. Imagine after he talks again, remember the Strength card is also, we see that the Magician is there. She's more mature. She shows herself differently, right? We know that after this conversation with the Lion and this Divine Feminine, that this then takes place. We know after having this conversation with the red-winged angel that this must take place. So that's why we practice tarot, and we don't do tarot. It's a constant practice because everybody's puzzle, everybody's pieces to their story are going to be different. They're going to lay different. That's one of my main fascinations. My mouth is watering. I don't know if you can hear it. My mouth is watering because I get so excited explaining and trying to have people understand or get this better grasp of how to read and understand and interpret the cards. So we know that during the Fool's Journey, after seeing not only the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, then the Fool sees the Emperor. And remember, the Emperor is like, all right, you have to be logical. Like, yes, we get it. You need the balance, but like, there's also action. Like, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. The Emperor is about providing, right? So then when we go into the story of Wands, and remember, after each one of these where they're placed, again, reading tarot, understanding tarot, interpreting tarot, practicing it, it's a puzzle. And if you don't know all of the stories of the Wands, the Cups, the Pentacles, the Swords, even the Fool's Journey, it's going to be harder for you. That's why people are out here just slinging cards, because they don't realize that there are 5 stories in tarot. So now that we know and we kind of understand and we grasp what that looks like, what it means when we're talking about fire in this journey of the Fool, I'm going to keep these right here just so you can imagine this story happening after the Fool interprets each one of these divine. Because each one of these, remember, these are the major arcana, are major people, events, situations, events. I think I said events twice. So I'm going to keep these here just so we can remember and we can keep in alignment. I'm trying to make this straight. I'm sorry if it's crooked. It looks straight to me, so my camera must be off. I do apologize. I'll fix it for the next story. And I decided to do Wands first. I know a lot of people wanted the Story of Swords, and the Story of Swords is my favorite because it's so sad. It's like, damn, my guy, it's so fucking sad. But I decided to do it in the order that it is placed, in the order that I learned it. And I learned it through Zodiac. So the next story that I will break down will be the story of Pentacles, or of Earth. Okay? So when we talk about the story of Wands, after the Fool meets with each one of these, the Fool is of, or has this new energy, this new sense of action and adventure, this new creativity. It has the guidance of the divine, and we see that again in each one of these cards and events, and we see it here as well. So the Fool is ready to bring on this new energy, to bring this new abundance, to create this new abundance, create this new fortune. Okay? The Fool contemplates, though. I know that I need to have this new energy. I need to create this new fortune. I know that, but I need to do some research from within myself. I need to look inward. I do have the courage and I do have the understanding, but something just doesn't seem right. I went through all of this balance and trying to figure out balance. How do I know that these are the right actions that I'm taking? So after looking in, the Fool is like, well, let me check and see. Like, let me look at this other side. What the fuck is going on over here? Like, I'm gonna ask my homeboy if I can borrow another wand so I can get even further guidance, so I can get even more understanding, so I can get direction and be advised. I see that these people are moving because as water is fluid, like the Empress told me, I must also be fluid. The Fool then realizes, as long as I remain happy and I remain balanced, then everything will be great. But this also is very similar to after the Fool falls in love. The Fool still has that love, that happiness, that unity in the back of their mind. They're seeking direction and action for what they can potentially build. That's why oftentimes when we see the Four of Wands, it's typically after the Strength card, if we're looking at it through the Fool's journey. It's like one of those middle of the situations after we've gotten this wisdom of the Emperor. Shit hits the fan. Clatter, crash, crash, debacle, struggle, strife, a whole bunch of fuck shit. Because maybe the direction that I'm going isn't right. I'm trying to create this new energy to the point that I'm causing more chaos than I am ruckus. All I'm trying to do is find balance. I have been patient. I have been kind. But there's still ruckus and there's still chaos. I've even asked and sought out guidance and direction to make sure that my home and my life are in harmony with that Four of Wands, right? What the fuck is going on? So these people they're preying on my downfall, right? They don't want to see me grow, because remember, even still then, after we talk to that red-winged angel, and we go back to find, remember, after the red-winged angel, we go back and we find our lovers. So there is a little bit of struggle and a little bit of strife. After Temperance, we have the Devil. After we've gone through it, we've had our moments. We went through Temperance. We even had our Tower moment. Right. We see this victory. The Six of Wands is about success. It's about victory. It's about others seeing how far you've gone. But there's also a little tinge of pride in there. Because I'm that bitch. I knew it. I created this new energy so I can be whole, so I can have strength, so I can be patient. There is no I in as above, so below. The horse isn't even necessarily white, right? The horse isn't even white, and we know that white represents purity. We only really see the color white toward the beginning and toward the end of the tarot deck. Still, we're working through the gray. We're working through the gray. After this victory and this understanding, we still kind of let our pride get in the way. We still let our pride get in the way a little bit. The Seven of Wands, I don't know why I keep saying swords, excuse me. The Seven of Wands is about competition. There's a real competitive energy, but it's about you being at an advantage because you are victorious. You are winning. However, you're still putting your pride first, and you're still having this negative connotation of you having to be better. You're still holding on to what the Emperor said. You're not necessarily putting into play what the Empress said, or the Magician, or even the high priestess. Yes, you're on higher ground, but that shit can only last but so long. So then you decide to take your ass on a journey. They told me that this is my journey. I am the fool on my journey, so let's get going. I am going to travel far and wide to continue to grow, to continue to build, to continue to find love. Even if I have to go the distance. The Eight of Wands is about distance. It's about movement. Physically, mentally, emotionally. After moving, settling in, the Fool is very guarded. Like, bitch, I just won. I had to keep these hoes at bay with my 7, and then I even had to move. So like, I'm guarded. I'm in a new place, new space, and nobody's gonna fucking tear my shit down. So yes, I'm very grateful, and I'm still determined, and I'm still strong. However, I'm keeping my guard up because, like, bitch, I don't know who you are, and I don't want you to come and fuck me up. I don't know. The Fool gets fucking tired carrying around all of this shit, all of this weight, all of these defenses and fences that the Fool carries around to continue to block or prevent hurt, to prevent downfall. Let me slide this over some. To prevent hurt, to prevent downfall. We got too much ass to be carrying burdens, old toxic bullshit, and ass. The Fool is like, I gotta let it go. I gotta let this shit go. I have to let it go. It's weighing me down. I cannot be fluid. I cannot be fluid. I cannot be grounded. So the Fool lets that shit go. The Fool's like, all right, bitch, I'm gonna bring this back down to 1 wand. That's what I started with. I started with 1 wand, and let's go back. Let's start this shit. Let's get this shit. The Fool then finds courage, charisma, a new energy. Again, the Fool simplified it. It's about balance. The Fool kept adding wands, thinking that it was going to outweigh the scale, that it was going to balance everything, when the Fool just needed to remember the divinity within itself. Right? So this is when the Page comes in, and the Fool, as the Page, finds courage again to start over again within the same lesson, within the same movement. Then the Fool's like, all right, bitch, I gotta go. It's time for me to move. Now I'm ready. I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm not doing it to get away. You see how the 8 of Wands is moving away. I'm not doing it just to get away from the bullshit so I can be guarded. Oh shit, where did 9 go? So I can be guarded and I can hold on to other shit. No, I gotta go. I gotta scat because I'm doing this for the right reason now. And I know that I am. The Fool still only has 1 staff. The Fool is not going to continue to pick up these wands and these unnecessary energies to get through. Once the Fool released those wands and stopped carrying them with her, him, them, they, the Fool was able to be more swift, more caring, more understanding. Once the Fool was able to get through, go through it, the Fool remembered the divine feminine, what the divine feminine said, what the Empress said. You have to have balance. You have to nurture. But you still have to be willing to accept and give and balance. You still have to be strong. You still have to be guided by the light. And you still have to be willing to accept advice along the way. The fool was like, damn, that's fucking right. I'm that bitch now. I'm that fucking bitch. Then the fool continued with one wand, right? The emperor. We see the emperor again, right? You see how they got the same outfits on, right? The emperor's like, all right, bro, I see you. I remembered that I have to balance my divine feminine, like the high priestess said, like the magician said, like the empress said. And then that's when the fool begins to learn about how to ground themselves. And that's when we go into the story of Pentacles. The story of Wands is about how the fool learned the action, the steps, the energy that they put out, they will receive. It's not about what you can collect, what you can gather in this story of Wands. It's about realizing and knowing what is in front of you. A question that I get often, especially when I talk about the story of Wands in my private lessons, is like, why doesn't the Empress, why doesn't the story start with the Empress? The story, or the suits, excuse me, why don't the suits start with the Empress? My understanding and my interpretation, the Empress is the first time that you are connecting divinity of the soul as well as the earthliness of your body. So that the Empress is, when we talk about the divine feminine, it's the first time that we see mind, body, soul, spirit all into one as the divine feminine, as a divine being, as a humanly body of expression. So from my understanding, it's like she's too much of a bad bitch to start the story there. Like, she has to have her own energy. She's too much of a bad bitch. So that's why we start with the Emperor. And it represents Aries. So like, think about an Aries that you know and how much fire and how much passion they have. An Empress is not going to act in the same way as an Emperor would. The loudest isn't always the smartest, the wisest, the most logical, the most nurturing. I say this often, the baddest bitch is never the loudest in the room. The alpha male is never the loudest in the pack. Okay? And that is the story of Wands. I'm glad that you guys like the stories that I'm doing. Again, tomorrow I will do the story of Pentacles. I'm just going to go through it as the story goes through the major arcana. If you guys like this, make sure you give a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you go to witchbitchtarot.com to see everything that I have to offer. And if you are not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Turn on that bell notification so you can get notified every time I upload a video or go live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you know, hoes will be hoes. Bitches will be bitches. But you never know when it comes to witches. Which bitch is which? And no, I do not sell owls, so stop fucking asking. Okay?